one of the other ways that we develop, so we've talked about physical development, we've talked about social development. One of the other ways that we develop is actually morality, and this is kind of a hot button thing because, there's different theories about where morals come from, and if there's cultural relevancy towards morals and things like that. But a guy named Lawrence Kohlberg actually was the first person to really study this idea of morality and moral reasoning. And where does this come from? So he really started looking at this in terms of adolescent development. And he started to look at things like, adolescents see justice and fairness in terms of merit and equality instead of in terms of everyone getting equal treatment. And adolescents may strive to advocate for ideals and political causes. Adolescents think about God, meaning, and the purposes in deeper terms than in childhood. So, in his kind of studies on adolescent development, Lawrence Kohlberg came up with what he called his levels of moral reasoning. Okay, and there's three of them. There's pre-conventional, which is up to about age 9. And this is basically you follow the rules because if you don't, you get in trouble. And if you do, you might get a treat. So very simplistic. You do it because you don't want to you avoid punishment or gain rewards. Okay, conventional morality, which is follow the rules because we get along better if everybody does the right thing. So this one is really about kind of social harmony, that we follow the different, we have these our morals are set based off of this idea of social harmony. And then the last one is post-conventional morality. This is later adolescence and a kind of adulthood, and this is sometimes rules need to be set aside to pursue higher principles. Okay, so again, this is another one of those charts I was talking about. You got to know Piaget's chart and you got to know Kohlberg's chart. Okay, so we have pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional, and these were kind of he said these are some of the ways that there's the basics kind of how our moral reasoning and our moral development begins. So what are some examples? Well, for instance, looting after a natural disaster. Which level of moral reasoning is involved in these? Well, looting is a problem. If everyone did it, there would be escalating chaos and greater damage to the economy. Looting is generally wrong, yet morally right when your family's survival seems to depend on it. Looting is wrong because you might get punished, but if no one is punished, then that's a sign that it's okay. Okay, can you decide, take a minute and look at these and figure out which one is pre, which one is conventional, and which one is post-conventional? And then we're going to spend a lot of time in class talking about these and looking at some other examples and kind of discussing these. One of the things that you might think about, especially because you as adults or close to adults are very much in this post-conventional mindset. Can you tell the difference about how, can you think about the difference about how kids at different ages would respond to these? Now, there's also something called moral intuition. Jonathan Haidt, sorry, I can't pronounce names, believed that moral decisions are often driven by moral intuition, that is, quick gut feeling decisions. And this intuition is not just based off moral reasoning, but also in emotions such as disgust. We might turn away from choosing an action because it feels awful, or elevated feelings. We may get a rewarding delight from some moral behavior such as donating to charity. So one of the studies that they did is they gave a hypothetical choice to save 5 people from an oncoming trolley by killing one person. Okay, many people's choices determined not just by reasoning but by disgust. Okay, many people would flip a switch to make this choice, but not as many people would push a person onto the tracks to save others. Now, what's really interesting about this is when they did this study, they put people under a scanner, and what they found is that the emotional center of our brain was quiet, no activity in that when the option of flipping a switch was given, but when the option of pushing or having to kill somebody was given, people's emotional center of the brain lit up. So what does this kind of tell us? Well, there's a removal. Yeah, we would be disgusted, but would it be easier for us to just flip a switch and be completely removed from the situation than it would be to actually have to kill somebody? So again, we're going to talk about this a lot more in detail in class, and we're going to look at some moral dilemmas and kind of have a discussion about these. But just, be thinking about the levels, those pre-conventional, the conventional, and post-conventional. Can you think about in terms of things in your life, situations that are going on, and what your insight is into how moral development is made?